All right, we are ready. Now we're gonna patch in, I think I might have hit the wrong thing. Now we're gonna patch in our other people. So again, thank you so much, Periscope. We're trying to figure out the best way to kind of get this going and making sure that, let's see what's going on here. Okay, I'm just getting set up. Okay, I'm not trying to do that. Yeah, so just getting set up, guys. You know, it takes me just a tad bit of a second. We are getting ready. Thank you so much for those of you that are viewing on Periscope as well. We are getting set up with our Facebook live feed, so give us just a couple of minutes. Periscope as well. We are getting set up with our Facebook live feed. So I'm Latanya Moore. This is the Latanya Moore Morning Show, Monday through Friday, Central Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And today, yesterday, we talked about taking your brand to the next level. That was part one. And in part one, what we actually talked about was building your team. You know, good morning, Georgette. Building your team, making sure that you have the right people in place, making sure that you have everybody that you need, understanding how to work with your team, you know, and understanding how to build your team up. Because again, you can't do this by yourself. You are not an island. So I make sure that I talk with everybody and I let you know that, because oftentimes as entrepreneurs, that's exactly what we do. You know, we spend the time and we try to think that we're just invincible, you know, that we can just do it all by ourselves. And unfortunately, we can't. It's not something that we can do. We have to understand that there's a process. And so, honestly, I had so many people that were talking about this. I said, you know what, I need to do a live feed. And Facebook, I know that you guys have heard this, but we have our Periscope viewers this morning. So I wanted to make sure that I gave them a recap of what we do here on the Latanya Moore Morning Show every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. A recap of what we do here on the Latanya. And so I also wanted to make sure that I did a recap from yesterday. And thank you guys so much for joining. Please remember to like, share, and comment. I will be taking your questions live. Same thing, Periscope. You guys are going to be seeing me kind of looking back and forth. I have my Periscope here to the right. I have my Facebook live feed right here. So while we're waiting for other people to join, thank you guys so much again. Don't forget, leave me feedback. Leave me feedback about the live feed, what you think about it, some things that you would like for me to talk about. Again, so excited and really just so honored that you guys tune in. I did have a couple of people who said that for whatever reason they can't see the live feed when it goes live. What you have to do, guys, you have to turn on your notifications so that you can be notified when there's a feed that's going live from a page. So thank you so much, Lee, for joining this morning as well. Thank you, Periscopers. Again, on Periscope, you just have to follow me on Periscope and you will be notified. You have to turn your notifications on as well. So today, again, we're talking about part two on how to take your brand to the next level. And, you know, guys, yesterday we talked about, are you in a business mindset? Are you in a growth mindset? Both of them are fine. It doesn't matter which one of those that you are. But the reason that you need to understand that is so that you can get a good start and a good foundation going. Very, very, very important. And so I want to move a little bit. One thing that I mentioned yesterday, right at the very end, I think, is when we're talking about your team members and making sure that you're empowering your team members and all of those things. So I want you guys to really grasp the fact that you got your internal team, you got your employees, you have your service providers. All of these people are a part of your team. You know, all of them are a part of your brand and a part of what you're doing. And The reason that that's important is when we start to talk about growth, you really have to ask yourself, how do you want your brand represented? And so that really does come down to employees. It comes down to your business partners. It comes down to your collaborative partners. And you have to ask yourself, is this a person? Is this an individual? Is this a company? However the collaborative partnership is set up, you have to ask yourself whether or not this is the type of company or person that you want being associated with or representing your company. Very, very important, because oftentimes people don't think about that. You know, they just like what the person does. And so they just say, hey, we want to work together. But they don't take the time to really research a little bit on, well, is this person really doing what they say that they do? There's nothing wrong with you doing that research up front. And, you know, we talked about that in a previous video about doing the video up front. Same thing with your employees. You have to ask yourself, is this an individual that carries themselves in a way that is going to help me build my brand? Answer those questions. So that's the part that I left off on yesterday's discussion. Again, guys, thank you so much. Periscope, thank you so much. Facebook for watching live. For those of you that are going to be watching on the replay, again, thank you so much. I am answering questions live. You guys saw it. That's what we do here. I'm answering your questions live. So if you have a question, you can put it in the comments. If you do not want to put it in the comments, you can send me an inbox message and I will answer your question. So again, thank you guys so much for joining live. Really appreciate you being here. So I want to move on just a little bit, still sort of talking about teams and talking about employees. Thank you so much, Cedric, for joining. Good morning. Want to also talk to you about, you have got to have your rules of conduct. You have got to let the people that are working with you and for you really, really know that you are serious about your business and what you expect from them as employees, as collaborative partners, as contractors. You know, there are all these different categorizations of people that work with you. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that these are people that understand the brand, they understand the vision, they understand where they fit in that vision, and they understand expectations. And so part of that, again, are the rules of conduct. And so for those of us that have worked in corporate America, we call that a handbook. And it doesn't have to be, you know, something that's big and formal, but it definitely has to be something that people clearly understand. This is how we operate. These are my expectations. When you are out, this is what you do. I was talking to someone who works for a major company, and they were telling me that one of their coworkers, they had just gotten off work. They had forgotten to take off their name badge, which also had their position and the company logo right there. They had forgotten to take it off. Well, they got into some type of altercation. This had nothing to do with work. It was off-site. However, someone reported this employee to the company, and that employee was fired. Now, my understanding is that this is a really great employee. My understanding is that it is not someone that had any issues on the job. This was clearly outside of the work area. It did not involve another employee, but that company felt like that what this person did was serious enough that it was a bad reflection on the company. So you have to ask yourself, how far are you willing to go to protect your brand? You know, are you willing to, you know, cut some of these people that are just not good for the brand? And as entrepreneurs, we fall into the trap of not really wanting to do that because we feel like, oh God, now we got to train somebody else. Oh, now, you know, we have to do all these other things. But you have to ask yourself, now we're talking about growth. We're not talking about everyday mom and pop that wants to say the same. We're talking about growth. And when it comes to growth, guess what, guys? You're going to have to make some tough decisions. So thank you guys again so much for joining live. I see a couple of more people have joined in. Let me know that you're here. Like, share, comment. Again, I just wanted to make sure that I really address that because these are things that I've seen that really have hurt small businesses, the people that work there. I could talk all day about that. I won't. We have some subsequent videos coming up. I'm going to have some people coming on talking about customer service and things of that nature. But I really wanted to make sure that I wrap that up, because when we're talking about employee handbooks. This is what I tell people. I say, how do you run your home? Whoever lives in your home, especially if you have kids, they understand what your expectations are as the parent. You know, they understand what they can do and what they can't do. Your business should be the same way. You should invest in your employees so that they clearly understand what your expectations are. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that. If someone has a specific question about that, again, put it in the comments. I am answering questions live right here. But that is one of the things that will torpedo your growth very, very quickly if you don't get that in check. So again, we're not even talking about anything else right there except the fact of the people that are representing you in the face of your company. Very, very crucial. You must understand that. When you make a decision, stick to it. Once you say this is how it is, that's how it is. Now, I'm not saying don't listen to good counsel. I'm not saying don't listen to or don't request or provide any type of input or even encourage input. I'm not talking about that. But what I am talking about is having a policy, a practice, a procedure that you will enforce. It makes no sense to have it if you're not going to enforce it. Thank you guys so much for joining. It has no, it really just has no effect. So again, wanted to make sure that I address that. And you guys know I have my notes right here. I want to make sure that I hit all the things that we want to hit. So now I want to move on to something that we talked extensively about, and that's contracts. Again, I cannot stress to you how important it is to make sure that you have contracts in place for your service providers. I don't care if it's the person that cuts the grass. Most people don't. Most people won't. Most people say, well, you know, I don't really need that. And that's fine if that's what you decide to do. But guess what? If that person messes up your landscaping, for example, and then how are you going to explain to the insurance company that you have this landscaping company, but you have no idea who they are? You know, those types of things. I think that we don't think about the things until we don't have them. This is the purpose for these videos, so that you can be prepared. I get people all the time saying, LaTanya, I really want to grow my brand. You know, I want to take my brand to the next level. I want to take my brand global. So when we get into the consultation and I'm asking them all these questions, some of the things that I'm telling you guys to consider, they don't have any of this stuff together. Some people say, well, you know what? I'm just not going to do it. That's very sad. Some people say, okay, I have a whole lot of work to do, and maybe, LaTanya, I'm not ready. And that's fine as well, because that's the reason why you get good counsel. That's the reason why you get consultations, so that you can really decide, am I ready for this next step? And I tell people that because I don't want you to be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in the hole before you realize that you missed step 2 and now you're on step 22. And because you missed step 2, now you got to turn around and go all the way back. And now you got to fix all the trouble that you made with step 2. Very, very, very crucial. Very, very, very important. I tell you guys, always have contracts, and do not get online contracts. Please don't do the canned online contracts, and please don't go to these office supply places or to some local retailers that sell these standard contracts. Don't get those, because let me tell you something. They have the same, I'm not going to get on this soapbox, but I am going to say this. They have that same contract everywhere. The same contract that they sell in the stores in Alabama is the same contract that they sell in the stores in California. And the laws are different. I tell people all the time, don't do it. Pay for the consultation. Contact people like me. Contact someone else that can help you with that process. Just go ahead and do it so that you have someone that's helping you. Now, I'm not going to get on that, except to say, don't do it. So I want to move very quickly, because I know yesterday we talked extensively about some other things. But today, again, thank you guys so much for joining. If I haven't seen your question, or if I haven't addressed it, it's really because I haven't seen it. Sometimes I do not, for whatever reason, the feed does not show up. So I'm really sorry if I don't see you. I will go back right after this. I'm answering questions live. Put your questions in the comments. I do go back right after this. I monitor the feed all day. so that I can make sure that I address questions. For those of you who do not want to put your questions in the comments, please, please, please send me an inbox. I do address those questions that you sent to me in the inbox. So again, thank you so much. Like, share, comment. For those of you that want to make sure that you don't miss these broadcasts, make sure that you turn on your notifications so that you can be notified when there is a live feed. I do a lot of pop-up things sometimes throughout the day, little tips here or there. So yes, want to make sure that you are aware of that. I want to make sure that you have access to all of that. And again, thank you so much. Again, everybody for joining live. Some of you, of course, I cannot see who you are, but thank you so much. Those of you that are watching on a replay, you can leave your comments as well. I do monitor this all day. I will make sure that I answer your questions as well, so you don't have to be here on the live feed just to do that. So again, very important that I let everyone know that I am so thankful and so grateful that you are a part of the LaTanya Moore Morning Show, again, to get your questions answered. So I want to take a quick shift, because something that came up yesterday after yesterday's live feed, I had a question about products. I had a question about things that people create as far as intellectual property, but the question had more to do with an employee or someone that you're working with, or if you're working for someone that you're creating products for or products with. It's very, very, very vital that you have a contract in place so that if there is something new that's created, or if someone is creating a product, let's say for you, then you have to talk about what are the ownership rights. Because typically anyone's creation, they typically have an ownership in that. This is very key when we're looking at growing our business. A lot of people don't think about that. They have these programs, they have these products. Some of it is intellectual property that's here, right here in your brain. And you share this knowledge, you share this wisdom. Someone else takes it and now they are, a bestseller, a New York Times bestseller, or something like that, because they've utilized your concept that they took from you. You got to think about that, because guess what? If you do not protect it, it's going to be very hard to now come back and say, well, I was the one who came up with that first. If you don't take the steps, and we talked about this in a previous video, if you don't take the steps to put the right contracts in place to make sure that you have something that if this happens, now you have a recourse. So you need to decide all of these things up front, because guess what? For those of you that are watching this, for those of you that have contacted me, the big thing is I want to grow my brand. I want to be global. I want to be this. Well, guess what? Then you're exposing your brand to pirates. You're exposing your brand to people that may very well take advantage of you. They may very well, guess what? They may not even ask you. They may just see what you're doing and they may just take it. I had someone contact me to tell me that that's the very thing that had happened to them. People were taking their work product and they were putting it on all these other products, t-shirts, probably mugs and things like that, because guess what? They were making money off of it. But because this person had not really taken the steps to protect it, I was able to help them understand the things that they need to do, like going forward and what to kind of retract and all of that. Bottom line is we were able to come up with a plan to deal with that particular situation, even the people that stole what they were working on. So just understand that it's a lot involved when you're talking about growing. It is a lot involved. You have other people that are in similar industries. They see what you're doing. They see that it's working, and then they want to do the same thing. Understand that just because somebody is in your similar field, it does not make them the competition. Competition is only competition if you guys are going after the same market, if you're going after the same type of people. And even then, it really comes down to what's going to elevate your brand above the competition. That is a big factor. That is a big question that you have to answer when you are looking at taking your brand to the next level. When you're looking at the growth of your brand, you have to ask yourself, what makes me different? What makes me better? Why are people going to want you know, buy my brand or choose me over the next person that does the same thing or something very similar. So we have to understand all of these things. And again, this How to Take Your Brand to the Next Level series, we are talking about all of the foundational concepts. I know a lot of people don't want to hear about this. They don't want to know about what I got to do to get ready. But guess what? You can jump out there if you want to. I'm not encouraging you to do that, which is why I do these videos. But you can jump out there if you want to. You can say, well, I got it. I know what I'm doing. But I guarantee you, when you start to grow beyond your local borders, you're going to have a big problem if you don't put a lot of these systems in place that I've just talked about today and that we talked about yesterday. Again, if you don't know how to do that, you can clearly pay a consultant. You can do some research on your own. You can do all of those things. But I always tell people, even if you decide to say, you know what, I'm going to take this advice and I'm going to implement it on my own, I just caution you to make sure that when you start getting to the contract stage, when you start doing some of the other things that we talked about, making sure that everything's covered in your for your employees and things of that nature. If you don't spend money on anything else, you should invest in those things. If you do not invest in anything else, invest in those things. Very, very vital, very important. I just cannot stress the level of importance that this is, because again, you have to understand that to move to that next level, your foundation has to be tight, or else your entire business, your entire brand, you're really, for a lot of us that do this full time, your entire livelihood is on the line. Very, very vital, very, very important. I remember when I was working in, I guess, corporate America, or when I was working a 9-to-5 job, I worked for a government agency that pretty much had you sign something that says if you invent something while you're working with us, we are joint owners in this patent, right? So the interesting thing is there was an employee that they created a product, and the use of the product was to help safely lift patients, safe for both the patient and for the healthcare provider. Now, this is something that they constructed on their own. They constructed it during their own off-duty time, but really, honestly, just out of necessity, because there were a lot of people that were getting hurt on the job because they couldn't properly lift these particular patients. Well, what did the agency do? That person applied for the patent. They went through the process. They did all the things that people like me tell you to do. And the agency said, whoa, whoa, whoa. We have an interest in that. So unfortunately, there was some litigation. Thank you, Mama Bell. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining. So there was a lot of back and forth about it. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, the agency was able to assert their interest. One big reason why they were able to assert their interest is because this person had brought this particular contraption, and they were testing it actually on site, and it worked. So again, you have to think about that, and you have to think about it from both sides. When you're a service provider and you are providing things, when you are the business owner, and you have employees that are creating things, whether it's for your brand, all of these things you need to have in place. And you need to make sure that the people that work with you and for you, they're on notice that this is what you want to do. And guess what? The best way to do that is to have your contract in place. I cannot stress the importance of having contracts in place. Invest the money up front and just do it. Just do it. Now, this guy, I know that he had he in no way thought that he had no intentions of splitting his patent with the agency. No intention whatsoever. I know I wouldn't have. And guess what? You're still in partnership with them, even if you leave. So again, all these things are very, very important. These examples I give and some of these topics that I talk about is because this is what people come to me and ask about. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for joining. Good morning. This is what people typically talk about. You know, they come in, they tell me all these things, and when I hear it more than once, I really know this is something that we need to talk about. This is a trap that people are falling in because they don't know. They don't know that they should do these things up front. And so I make it my business to help people so that they know. And again, I'm answering your questions live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Today, we are talking about how to take your brand to the next level. This is part 2 of this conversation. Part 1 was yesterday. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to go back and look at that video, because we also talked about the foundational things that you need to be doing even before you get to this level. Even before you get here, where we're talking about employees and patents and creating products and all of those things, because again, it's very vital that you make sure that your brand is protected. You need to have all of this in place so that your business can operate when you're not there. Your business can operate, guess what? When you decide that you can take a vacation and you're going on vacation. You don't have to close the place down just because you're not there. I know a lot of entrepreneurs that do that. They will shut their business down because they have not taken the time to invest in employees. They have not taken the time, or they don't trust the people that they do have working with them. So again, if you're operating like that, you need to seriously right now reevaluate your business. You need to look at some of these videos. You need to implement some of the things that we have talked about really over the course of the last couple of weeks, but definitely yesterday's video and today's video. So very, very, very important. You cannot grow your brand until you have the right contracts in place. I know people don't like to deal with contracts. Sometimes I don't like to deal with them, but this is what I do. And this is what people come to me for, because they know that I'm going to ask a gazillion questions that they probably never thought about. Many of you have heard me say that there are at least 1,000 questions that you must answer that have nothing to do with your business plan. Nothing to do with your business plan. So you have to ask yourself, what are those questions? And all of those questions that you have to answer are the things that I'm talking about, are the things about protecting that brand, protecting your business. There are some personal questions that you have to answer. There are some business questions that you have to answer. And based on the answers to those questions is what you need to do to make sure that your business and your brand are protected. So again, thank you guys so much. Like, share, comment. I'm answering your questions live. Leave your questions right here. If you are watching on the replay, leave your questions right here. I will be monitoring them all day. For those of you who you don't want to do that, you can leave your questions to me in an inbox message, and I will get to those questions as well. But I do monitor this. The replay typically plays throughout the day, so you will have the opportunity to make sure that you can go back and watch this, because again, it's very, very, very important for me that you have all of these foundational concepts down so that you can start to build on that and then grow your business. Again, everyone is not trying to franchise, but some people want to grow right where they are. And that is fabulous. There is nothing wrong with that. But all of the things that we've talked about between yesterday and today, you all have to do regardless of how you're growing your business and how you're growing your brand. So my last word, my last word is invest in your brand. Whether that's investing in yourself to learn certain skills that you can implement on your own, whether that's investing in employees or people that are going to be working with you to make sure that they have the skills that they need, or whether that's investing in a consultant or some other professional that can help you go from point A to point B. Because again, it's very, very crucial. It's very crucial, very vital that you have all these foundational concepts in place before you look at building your brand, before you take, I want to take my brand to the next level. Well, before you take your brand to the next level, you need to make sure that the foundation is tight and there aren't any cracks in your foundation. So again, thank you, Periscope. Thank you, Facebook Live, for being a part of the live feed. Those of you that are here live, please leave your questions. Again, I'm asking for feedback about the live feed. So I want to know what you guys think. Some of you were gracious enough to send me some feedback. Again, for those of you who did that, thank you so much. For those of you that haven't, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. For those of you that are watching on the replay, please know that I am going to be monitoring this feed all day. I am going to be answering questions all day, so you can definitely put your comments right there. You can send me you can send me an inbox message as well. I monitor inbox messages as well. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Here on Facebook Live. I'm trying to figure out how to do both the Facebook and the Periscope. Again, please like, share, and comment. Let others know about the value that this live stream brings to you, because again, it's very vital that we make sure that our entrepreneurs are equipped with the right skills that they need to be successful. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I would encourage you to go over to the LaTanya Moore Facebook fan page. There are a lot of freebies that I put only in that page. If you are not a member of that page, even if you see it, if you're not a member of that page, unfortunately, you cannot take advantage of the freebies. So I put a whole lot of freebies there. Actually, one that's coming up. I'm not sure if it's actually going out yet, but I know that it will be. I am giving away 5 coaching spots, free coaching spots to some of our members of the LaTanya Moore Facebook fan page. And I purposely put that at the end of this video because I want to see who's watching. Go over to that page, like the page. You will have to, unfortunately, you'll have to find the post. I haven't decided whether I'm going to pin it, but you may have to find the post and look for the post, and it will tell you exactly what you need to do to take advantage of the freebie and to get the opportunity to take advantage of the freebie, which is, again, I'm giving away 5 coaching slots. Just so you guys know, this particular program that I'm talking about costs $2,500. So it's not a cheap program. It's our brand awareness coaching program. And what we talk about in that is understanding how your brand identity impacts your business and helping you get that part on track and helping you understand. We're going to be dealing with a lot of the things that I've talked about on a lot of the videos, but for you, personally, for you and for your business. So I'm very excited to be able to offer that. I'm even more excited, honestly, to see who's going to actually take advantage of it. I do have people that they are Johnny on the spot. 100, they are Johnny on the spot. They take advantage of everything. But I also have people that sometimes, for whatever reason, they see it late. So I'm giving you every opportunity. I'm telling you where to go to actually find it. So make sure you go and check that out. And again, thank you so much. I would love to have your feedback. I'm LaTanya Moore. Until tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Have a great day.